What's up, guys? This is a leadership moment from Limitless. My name is Dylan McCabe. I host our Limitless Roofing podcast and also our roofing CEO groups. And I want to give some straight talk here because this is a really important leadership moment. And I hear a lot of guys in the industry point to or look up to guys because of one reason. And that's because they've hit a revenue number, whether it's 10 million, 20 million, 40 million a year. I just watched a YouTube video from a conference and they had all these guys up on a panel, owners of roofing companies, commercial roofing companies, residential and commercial roofing companies. And the question is how have you done? How much money did you make last year? And what is the key to your success, or some form of that? And so a lot of times is a chance for these guys to really share how they've made an A in business. If you're to use a report card on their life, they talk about how they've been so successful in business. And it's almost never happens where a guy points back to his character or the compass that he uses in his leadership, the way he sees the world, the way he views other people, the strength of his relationships. A lot of times it's just about hustle, grind, make it happen, hire more people, go knock doors on Saturdays, and do all these different things. But let me ask you this, and this is meant to be a challenge and an encouragement. What if you make an A in business while you're making an F in life? Now, I ask that not to be like a condemnation or a guilt-filled. It's not meant to be full of guilt. The reason I ask that question is because I know so many guys that have been on stages like that, and they've made an A in business and they've made an F at marriage or a D at marriage. They're making a D or an F in their relationships with their kids. They're making an F in their personal physical health. Some of these guys, you can tell by the way they look, or you hear about it after they're hospitalized, even though they look, fit on the outside. So the question is, are you striving to make an A in business, all the while sacrificing the other areas of your life? And if I want to be straight with you, I think you need a better scorecard. I think you need a better report card on yourself. For a lot of guys, the very first thing they think about is, how well am I doing? Is their work, their business. How well am I doing? How well am I growing? How well am I scaling? What was my revenue target last year? What's my revenue target this year? Have I hit a plateau? Oh my gosh, what are we going to do to get past the plateau? While that's important, that can't be the number one focus in your life. Otherwise, everything else can crumble. And candidly, I think that a lot of times it's the things outside of work that really jeopardize your growth and forward momentum in work. But a lot of guys, the very first thing is their work. The next thing is their marriage. Then after that, relationships with their kids. And then down at the bottom is their own selves, the way they see themselves, how their own character is doing, and the kind of physical and spiritual and mental health they have. And a lot of guys are striving to make an A in business, and they're making a B, a D, or an F in those other areas. My own personal business mentor is a very wealthy individual that I won't name on this show. I think he'd rather have me not make his name public, but a very wealthy Dallas entrepreneur lives in one of the most expensive streets to live on in Dallas because of the size of the homes and the type of the real estate. And he will share, if you were friends with this guy, he would share with you that his rise to the top, so to speak, having an amazing exit in his business and all these things, becoming somebody who's known around the world as a business person, that came with some costs along the way. And where he had the chance to do it differently, he would focus more on relationships. Guys that I talk to before joining our roofing CEO groups, I let them know, hey, this is not just about growing your business, although we do have processes and templates, and we have a curriculum we work through based on EOS worldwide over the course of a year to scale and grow your business. It's also about you as a leader, your personal journey in leadership, and we want you to make an A in life overall, not just in business. I got this idea when I went to seminary at Dallas Theological Seminary. And for those of you that go to a church and you love the preacher or whatever, a lot of these guys are trained at Dallas Theological Seminary, because Dallas Seminary is known as like the Cambridge or the Harvard of seminaries, or at least it used to be. And so when you go to Dallas Seminary, you know you are going to have to study a lot. I mean, they bury you in books. In fact, one of the first courses they encourage you to take your first semester is a speed reading course. And so most people, when they join Dallas Seminary, they go for a degree called a THM. It's a 120-hour degree. That's more hours than a lot of PhD programs. And when you leave Dallas Seminary, you are known as somebody who you're like in the Navy SEAL of ministers. You're in this elite group of people who have gone through that 120-hour program. You've taken 4 semesters of Greek, 5 semesters of Greek, 4 semesters of Hebrew. You can translate the original text. You know how to preach. You know how to lead. You know how to do all these things, right? Well, I had a professor tell the class, one of the best professors I had. He went around the room asking people their names. He asked people a little bit about their story, their families, what led them to Dallas Seminary, what their hopes and dreams were for ministering to others and making an impact in the world. And then he gave a short little speech and he told the class, he said, some of you need to make a C or a D in this class because you're married, you have kids, you have other obligations, and you have very precious relationships and people who need your attention. And you're going to have to make a decision whether you study until 11 p.m., 12 a.m. and neglect those relationships so you can make an A in this course, or take it down a notch and make a C or a B in this course and spend time with your wife, spend time with your children. And he said, some of you are going to be sinning against God if you make an A in this class. Now, that's a bold statement, but his point is don't sacrifice your life for this one goal that you think is preeminent, that you think is more important than anything else. You just may lose a marriage in the process. You just may say for the 20th time to your little girl or your little boy, Daddy, will you come play with me? Mommy, will you come play with me? Well, not yet. I got to work a little bit. Here's my challenge to you. You can never get those moments back. So it's a given that you're going to focus on business. If you're watching this video, if you're in our Facebook group, if you listen to our Limitless Roofing Show podcast, it's because you want to constantly sharpen that saw. You want to sharpen your mind. You want to excel in leadership. You want to excel in business. So you like hearing how other business owners have succeeded and overcome obstacles. That's obviously a goal. That's a given that you want to do better each year in business, that you want better processes. You want to scale, you want to delegate and elevate your people, but make a new scorecard. That's my challenge to you. Make a scorecard that gives you an A in life. Put your character first. Character is the true north of leadership. A lack of character will cause everything else to crumble. We hear about it in the news every day. Leaders whose lack of character has caused them to have to leave positions in public office, in the government, or at major corporations in the Fortune 500 realm. Make character part of your scorecard. Make your personal pilgrimage what I call the center of your leadership compass, how you see yourself, your own self views of what you think is right and wrong, your own moral balance and your identity, where that comes from. Does it come from other people who constantly have to stroke your ego, or does it come from a healthy place, knowing who you are, what you think is important, and having more of a principle-centered approach to the way you see the world, your own principles? What does that look like? What is your character like? What is your vision like for you, for your family, for your kids, if you have kids? Where are you taking them and why? How would you rate yourself on that? A, B, C, D, or F? And then what about your skills? What kind of skills are you developing as a leader? Skills in communication, skills in organization, skills in delegation, skills in learning how to train and teach others so that you can motivate them and equip them and empower them to do great things. How would you rate yourself on that? And then what about your relationships? That's what we call the west of that leadership compass. How strong are your relationships? I've said it so many times before, and I'll say it again. People will forget 95% of what you say, but they will never forget what it's like to be around you. And if you have a solid character and you have really strong relationships, you will earn people's trust. But you have to invest in people and becoming a friend, somebody who cares. And yes, a boss also, if that's somebody who's on your team as an employee. But how strong are your relationships? How close do you get to people, and how close can people get to you? A lot of people who run their own company live an isolated life, and that's a dangerous place to be. It really is can become a battlefield where different vices or just issues that you can develop as somebody who's operating in a vacuum can develop. And those things become weeded out and dealt with when you live with a healthy community of other friends, of having a band of brothers around you that can call you out when you're getting off track. So how strong are your relationships? I want to make a new challenge to you to use a new scorecard. And at the very least, it needs to have your own identity, the way you see yourself, the principles you live by, your character on a scale of A to F, your vision, where you are leading yourself, your company, and your family, and why, the skills you're developing, what skills are you developing, where are you weakest that you need to shore up, where are you strongest that you really need to operate in, and then how strong are your relationships. Let that be the report card or the scorecard that you use so you can make an A in life and also in business, but not only strive for an A in business or success, all the while sacrificing the really most important areas of your life that you can never get back. Guys, this is my Monday motivation post. I hope it's a challenge. I hope it's also an encouragement. And if you'd like to learn more about our roofing CEO groups, don't hesitate to reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. We bring leaders together and we bring them together in roundtable formats. And we also do business training based on EOS Worldwide so that they can break through the limiting factors in their business. This is Dylan McCabe with the Limitless CEO Group, and I will catch you in the next episode.